Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this. Well, before I go any further, in fact, not yet. Not ranting yet. This video was supposed to come out yesterday, but my computer decided, well, let's take my time in doing the check disk and check for errors on my disk by taking its time. When it's finally nearly done, the electrical grid from this shithole, built by a bunch of idiots in the 18th century and never updated, decided to, hey, that guy's nearly done. Let me see what I can do. And the power goes out. When it was 86%, after hours and hours of doing the check disk. Wonderful, isn't it? I had to restart again, so yesterday was pretty much a wasted day. And in the end, it was taking way too long. I said, fuck this, I'm going to bed. I'm powering it off my computer, and fuck the check disk. So here we are. And if you're listening to my fun in the background, to top it all, the day is hotter than Satan's bunghole, unwiped bunghole. So yes, I'm definitely sweating balls over here. Anyway, back to the article. It's from The Atlantic. You would have thought, hey, let's go a bit down. Let's go below standards, and well, since Trump is getting nominated twice now, let's cancel the Nobel Peace Prize because Trump. That's TDS, next level TDS. In fact, I think this is TDS level 10. I haven't seen those in some time. But then again, TDS has been reaching records to the point that we are having to set up new standards of what is considered level 10 TDS. This one is level 10. So, anyway, back to the article. And the Nobel Peace Prize! Yay! Trolls are scanning. Okay, are you sure you're not the one trolling here? Graham, yeah, whatever your name is. Trolls are a Scandinavian invention, straight from the frigid sagas of Norse mythology, but Christian Tybring-Gide, a Norwegian parliament, swears that he is not one. Do you swear you're not one, Graham? I'm gonna drink some coffee because this is starting to piss me off. Observers of his antics this week could be forgiven for thinking otherwise. No, just you, Graham. On Wednesday, he announced he had nominated Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Can you name a person who has done more for peace than President Trump? No, I cannot. I literally cannot. Greta Thunberg has done diddly squat for world peace, has done diddly squat for the environment. She just yelled and yelled and yelled, how dare you, and did diddly squat for the environment. In fact, she has spent more carbon on carbon credits, if you're gonna use that credit system, than I did in, let's see, 3 years. Because of the traveling, the expensive stuff she can afford, and all the stupidity she has managed to say, the wasted time, the energy people have wasted on her, on spreading her bullshitting message, and more and more. But here we are. Tybring-Gide asked me, insisting that the question was a serious one. Haley McEnany, goddamn, she's not only beautiful, but she's goddamn fucking smart. She's like a unicorn. Someone that shouldn't exist, but it does. Lucky bastard, whoever is her husband or boyfriend. Anyway, the White House press secretary agreed this is a hard-earned and well-deserved honor for the president. I agree. She said, Tybring Gide defended his nomination on Fox News remotely and to me in person at a cafe in Oslo. Do we give the prize to Greta Thunberg for screaming about environment? No, we don't. We give to the person who was responsible for giving peace to the world, even if it's a temporary peace or whatever. As long as we get peace, it's good. Even if it's temporary, like it lasts only a decade, less, I don't know, I don't care, as long as it's peace. I mean, the less people die or Americans die for some ungrateful little shithole on a country somewhere in some hot desert, dry seabed, whatever shithole it is around the world, the better. He asked, the agreement he made between Israel and United Arab Emirates could mean peace between Israel and the Arab world. That is like the Berlin Wall falling down. Today, the White House reportedly will announce that Bahrain, another Gulf monarchy, will recognize Israel. Exactly! If Trump wins the prize, it will be the 4th Nobel awarded for peace between Israel and its neighbors. Exactly. The announcement will come on October 9th. That will make the Arab-Israeli peace mediators more successful at charming the Nobel Committee than the International Committee of the Red Cross, which has won 3 times the prizes in 120-year history, but still less successful than my favorite, which is no-one at all. The committee has declined to award the Peace Prize 19 times, most recently in 1972. The next year, in a decision to trollish, it might have come out of Prose Edda. They awarded the prize to Henry Kissinger. Giving the Peace Prize to no one at all is a tradition the Nobel Committee should revive, perhaps on a permanent basis. Well, you triggered little fucker. Trump has done a lot for peace. Have you ever met a president, American president, or any president at all in any other country, with the exception of the allies of North Korea, that has managed to go to North Korea, walk into that territory without any type of security, and have a chat with a goddamn fucking dictator in an attempt to bring peace between those two countries who are still technically at fucking war? I'm trying to think here. None. That's like trying to slide out a big fat log out of your bunghole and it's hurting and nothing comes out. There's nothing. I can't think of any other president or anybody who managed to do that. Come on. Let's get back. What was I? Give it a president. Okay, and they had those. I don't care whatever this fucking idiot has to say. Peace had its chance and blew it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Trump nominated for the Peace Prize? No, I'm against peace right now. That's what he sounds like. The Trump nomination, one of the hundreds, including his second from Sweden, helps show why. Have you managed to bring peace the way Trump has brought to the world, Mr. Grimming or whatever? No, of course you haven't. Tybring Gide is from Norway's Progress Party. No, it's not a right-wing populist answer to the established parties of the right and left. No, it is not. He holds political views that you would be considered left-wing in the American society. In fact, he even supports the LGBT. His nomination of Trump strikes me as preposterous. All the politicians don't pick up the phone and talk, Tybring Gide said. He has the ability to be down to earth and talk to people at all levels. Exactly. Sorry, apparently my microphone is sliding down. It's getting irritated by my triggered response over this fucktard. Look, Trump might have been born in a rich family, but he has always been, I don't know, a down-to-earth man. He seems to not care much about the peculiarities of the aristocracy like Graham here seems to care. he doesn't give a shit. He goes there and does it. He doesn't care if he needs to get his hands dirty in doing a certain type of job. He just goes there and fuck everything. That's why a lot of rich people, especially back in the 70s and early 80s, hated him for it. Because he was not afraid of communing and talking with the common folk. That's why of the hundreds and hundreds of companies he owns, only a few went bankrupt. And even bankruptcy doesn't actually mean that the company ceases to exist. It just means that when he asks for Chapter 11, it just means that he is going to take a little while longer to pay certain things. It doesn't mean it's going bankrupt, not going down completely. Not okay. Trump's main diplomatic move is to adopt a lickspittle. Okay, so he likes to write a lot that has no content. Let's see, this Korean is the best. Okay, let's go to the next highlighted paragraph here. Previous awards, he said, have acknowledged Kim Dae-jung won the prize in 2000 for trying and failing to make peace with North Korea. Look at the Oslo Accords, Tybring-Gide said. Yasser Arafat, Shimon Peres, and Yitzhak Rabin won jointly in 1994 for the peace process began at meetings at short walk from where we were speaking, and then fell apart completely a few years later. How many months of secret back and forth were there, and they ended up with no peace. They got the peace prize, but they started to have a talk to finally solve the situation. But unfortunately, we are dealing here with Palestinians who are so hell-bent on wanting complete and total control of Jerusalem, a capital, a city that was never actually Muslim, historically Muslim to begin with. They like to claim it was the first prayer place or things like that, but that's completely bullshit. Jerusalem was a Jewish and Hebrew city. And even more so, the Palestinians want the whole state of Israel, and that becomes kind of a problem. And we can see these on the intifadas that had subsequently happened later on. And a lot of Israelis died until they erected a wall and controlled the passage of the Palestinians into the Israeli territory. And that was a godsend. But Yasser Arafat, in fact, I don't recall if it was the uncle or, yeah, I think it's an uncle, or was it a cousin? Either way, he's related to either uncle or a cousin that helped Hitler deal with the Jews. No wonder he hates Jews, and Yasser Arafat is actually Egyptian, not Palestinian. So you have an idea what sort of people you're dealing with. And which is why it's always kind of difficult having a peace process between Israel and Palestine. You have to, what Trump is doing is trying to circumvent the Palestinian problem and talking to the people who actually fund the Palestinians or who helped Palestinians in the past by promising them the entire country if they sided with the Arab armies or they fought against the Jews by driving them to the sea. That was the original intent in 1948 when they invaded Israel, the fledgling state, back then. And that's why Israel holds more land than it was originally given to them in 1948. Initially, they were even happy to have tiny little strips of land in that region. But they got attacked by the Arab army, and they made a promise to the locals, as in the Egyptians, Syrians, Jordanians, Saudi Arabians, and other people living in the region, that if they relinquished the contract they signed because the Jews bought their homes, or something like that, or that if they migrated into the area and then stuck there to fight against the Jews, they could get all that land for themselves when the Jews were definitely wiped out in that war, and that didn't quite happen. In fact, Jerusalem was owned by UN back then. It was supposed to be a UN protectorate. Nobody owned Jerusalem back then. But Jordan invaded and took Jerusalem until Israel managed to capture the western side of Jerusalem in that war, recapturing from Jordan. What did UN do? They did squat when the Jordanians took over. Back to the news. Another of Nobel's criteria for the prize, is the abolition or reduction of standing armies. In his wisdom, TDS said Trump has withdrawn soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan. I pointed out that Trump also boasts that he is building up the standing armies of the United States. But reduction does not necessarily mean Trump numbers, TDS reported. If you don't use your soldiers, the best ones will quit. If you are a doctor and you only get to use your skills on a doll, of course you'll quit. And that is what will happen with Trump. Yeah, that's kind of exactly what I mean. I studied biology with a lot of microbiology and a little bit of forensics. In the shithole I live in, I need to have nepotism to work in my area. Which is kind of like a wasted degree, if you ask me, because of nepotism. But it's kind of like this. You end up quitting. You stop caring about the area you studied for. Even though all those books in there costed a pretty penny, and I love them, but they have been pretty much useless now because of nepotism in the shithole I currently live. Well, they don't care. It's brain drain for them. They don't literally care. They just tax you nonetheless. And let's see what this idiot has to say. He approved of Trump's comments on Monday in which accused his top military advisor of being corporate vampires, wanted to do nothing but fight war so that all those wonderful companies that make the bombs stay happy. So Trump is promoting peace by weakening the US military. No, that's not what he says. Well, he doesn't think of it that way, Tybring said. And I don't think he thinks it that way either, because Trump has managed to increase the budget of the US military. If that's the case, why are you peddling that lie on a Kafkaesque trap-ish question? Because we all know Trump has increased the military spending, has bought a lot more stuff, and made the American military stronger than it was with the guy who lacked a spine, Mr. Obama. And why you would say this, promoting peace by weakening the US military? Certainly you actually care about the US military. I'm pretty sure that people like you were kind of triggered when Trump announced the increase in spending of the US military. Even I'm gonna go on a limb and say that some of you people wanted to use part of that funding to fund some socialized healthcare system, isn't it? Let's keep going. He admitted that Trump won't win the prize. I actually think he won't win it, even if he was nominated twice, because of the TDS. If only because of the man's vulgarity and crude behavior. Sure, yeah, I'm not going to... I don't care. I actually like his vulgarity and crude behavior. I love it. It triggers people. And they're looking for people who should behave a certain way. It's not like chemistry. If they find out you have 4 divorces and you are a bad personality... No, sorry, and are bad personally, they will never not give you the chemistry prize for that. By now, the contradictions of the Peace Prize should be apparent. Is it given for peace or for rumors of peace? Do you deserve a prize for maintaining despots as long as the despots are part of the stable networks? Or is it given for accidentally wrecking a great military, or only if the destruction is intentional? Wrecking great military. See, once again, he writes this. He or she, I don't know. That name is kind of ambiguous for me. This poor Latino here, who is too retarded to actually understand those aristocratic names. I'm sorry, this little monkey here, me, the monkey, doesn't understand that. What if you do all the right things, but you're a bore or are an alleged rapist? To these questions, one might add a concept of humility. If you have given the prize to enablers of genocide, kleptocrats, and serial fabricators and AIDS conspiracists, maybe you should sit out the next few rounds. The Peace Prize has always been subjective, more so than science prizes, and I would argue the Literature Prize. And it is healthy for the prize to evolve as we come to a better understanding of how to achieve durable peace, but its incoherence has come too great. The honor doesn't incentivize peace. If 1 year you give it to Kissinger, started as many conflicts and there won, another you give it to Mother Teresa, who never started one, but who, as Christopher Hitchens likes to point out, used the Nobel Peace Prize to form the word that the greatest destroyer of the world's peace was abortion. Of course, he doesn't agree about standing against abortion, so he's pro-abortion. Even though I'm pro-abortion, I can safely say this was a cheap shot because Mother Teresa was a salesman of suffering. She thrived on it. She received so much money that she could have built or created better places or hospitals for the people she cared about, but since these people, since she sold the image to the people who donated money to her as people who suffered, who were dying, she wouldn't get that much money if they looked better in a better placed hospital or other things. You could have mentioned that here instead of talking about abortion, but you're too triggered, aren't you? Tybring Gilder suggests that the brief conversations with hideous men are reason to award the prize, and its history suggests that he might be right. Then again, Barack Obama won the prize in 2009 while refusing to meet with King Jong-il, and by the way, expanding America's drone program, he won for his promotion of, notably not his success in achieving cooperation between peoples. No, he won because he was black, and he won the election in because he won the election, the American election, so much so that only a week or so, maybe 2, after he won the election, that he was nominated for the Peace Prize, and he collected it in less than a year after he took power. That's how much you people love that guy. All of this points to 1 or 2 conclusions. The Nobel Committee can either give the prize to do-good organizations such as Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders and play things extra safe, or it can keep the prize locked away for a while and re-evaluate its reasoning for the modern era. Why? Why would they do that when you have a perfect candidate for the prize this year, or this upcoming Nobel Peace Prize nominations? Why? Why would they do that? Because Trump has managed to achieve more in his presidency in regards to peace and decreasing of the American presence, the American military presence in other countries, because, let's face it, quite frankly, I don't want to see any more American lives lost or ruined for shit-out countries that are not grateful. I am eternally grateful for what the Americans have done, and so much so to the point that I don't feel nice or even feel good knowing that people who see their sacrifice and badmouth them. I don't like it. It's just insulting, to say the least, and I just don't like it. In fact, I would even give a leg or 2 just to be an American, or even if I could save some of those soldiers because of their sacrifice. They have made the world better. Imagine if there was no America against the communists or the Soviet meddling of the world and the stuff that they had to do to stop the communists from taking over because they still had a wet dream over the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Imagine that. So that's why I don't want any more Americans dying for ungrateful little bastards. To keep giving away for the deeds, for the seeds, is to court embarrassment and to make yourself hostage to walk attention-seeking nominations like Trump's. Better to shut it down before the trolls do first. Look, you idiot, Trump has managed a lot more than Mr. Obama. Sure, you're defending, you're attacking Obama here for doing the squat, but Trump has managed to do that, has managed to do what Obama did, and you're saying that Trump shouldn't get the prize for the things that Obama promised to do. Isn't that a bit idiotic? Isn't that a bit showing your TDS, level 10 TDS? Come on, dude. Come on. Trump did great, and he should be awarded for it. It's just... And you know what? Fuck this. Thank you for watching. See you on my next video. Good night.